Alright, hello everyone, and now welcome to a game between Happy and Romantic. Right now we can take a look back across over here on the top left hand side of the map. Happy spawning as the blue undead. Meanwhile over here on the top right we have Romantic spawning as the red human. Orc is pretty much the weakest race at this point, with BM being the only real good unit in Orc's army. Yeah, I mean the Blade Master is one of the strongest units and one of the biggest backbones. Personally, what do I think Orc is weakest? No, I think Orc still has a lot going for it. Kodo beasts are extremely powerful units. You're able to do a lot more. Having medium armor units, raiders are incredibly powerful as well. Being able to stop any sort of stun strategy as you're able to, well, ensnare heroes is incredibly powerful. You're able to pick off units as well. Orc is a very, very strong race still. In terms of all of the races, I would actually say human is probably one of the weaker ones, just because humans have, humans, if you get rid of their siege engines, they pretty much can't race anyone, right? In a straight up fight, their armies are one of the more fragile armies. Trying to get to knights versus bears, I believe bears will always win in that matchup, even before rejuvenation and before roar, bears win. And then you add to the fact that the bears have that, and you know, things just go the other way. Griffins are really powerful, but the problem is you can't really go pure griffins in two of the matchups, right? If you go pure griffins or a lot of griffins against undead, destroyers and crypt fiends are just really powerful, and then dryads are a definite problem as well. It's also the type of upgrades that don't overlap. What do I mean by that? It means, like, if you wanted to go like Griffin's Rifleman, you have two set of upgrades that you need to do, that don't really overlap. Meanwhile, let's take a look at this. Death Knight gonna go ahead and finish off the Water Elemental. No, denied by the Archmage. Nicely done, as he's running around but still taking a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Death Knight now gonna make its way over, and you can see that the Death Knight just causing a lot of harassment, but a good amount of experience was given to that Archmage as the peasants are now heading back. Yo, Lupin, how are you doing? So yeah, that's just a little bit of my opinion. I am definitely biased since I do play human, and I have a lot of difficulties dealing with undead and dealing with night elf. Mainly undead though. I just don't know why it is. I don't like to go the siege engine strategy with a quick expansion, and because of that, I think my win rate versus undead is pretty poor. Anyways, let's take a look. Archmage gonna go ahead and finish off this 3-1-1 creep camp. Gonna get a little bit more experience, which is incredibly important at this point, as the Death Knight most likely gonna come across, try to finish off all of those units. He does pick up a Tome of Strength here, which is gonna be definitely helpful, as the skeletal minions could not get close enough to that Archmage. Archmage with Claws of Attack +6. You can take a look. Death Knight now trying to wander in, gonna be able to get in a little bit more damage, as well as the skeletal minions are gonna get taken out, giving that Archmage more experience once more. Now, well, not happy about what he saw there, feeding his opponent some additional experience, as the Death Knight now looking to get away. If human can get their tower up, it's GG. Well, we've lately seen a lot of undead players using that 5 obsidian statue into 5 destroyer strategy that absolutely destroys the human expansion very early on, and it's something that undead players have been able to consistently execute, at least in the games that I've seen. I haven't seen every single game out there, so don't quote me on it, as the skeletal minion gonna get taken down again. Archmage is playing a very, very fine line here, as he is now down to 89 hit points. You can take a look at him. He's taking a lot of damage, as the Crypt Fiend now trying to get away. Archmage is gonna go ahead and back off. He's sitting at 75 hit points, could get killed by a Death Coil, and if it is followed up by some Crypt Fiend attacks very, very quickly. Death Knight sitting at 73 mana, but he doesn't have any experience. This is one of those matchups where you are playing on such a fine line that it can go either way. Romantic sitting with a 96 hit point Archmage, and he is playing this absolutely perfectly as this Water Elemental may get taken down. All right, Archmage looking to back up here. Oh, denied once again. As you can see, the Death Knight going after the Archmage. Is it going to be able to catch up the Death Knight down to 141 hit points? And the Archmage still trying to get away. Archmage down to 90 hit points. A Death Coil could be getting underway as well, but the Death Knight doesn't know if he wants to use the Death Coil to save a Crypt Fiend or something else. The Footmen are playing this dangerous line again, as the Crypt Fiend is now down to 107 hit points. All right, no natural regeneration right there. One Peasant finally taken out. But that is not a lot of experience to be happy about, as this Crypt Fiend still down to 89 hit points with no Blight nearby. Archmage now making a move out across the map. Is he going to be able to find this Crypt Fiend? That is the big question. More skeletal minions? No skeletal minions going to be available. No backpack upgrade, as we're looking at the Town Hall already done. Somehow this Archmage is just hiding off over here, sitting at 140 hit points. And let's take a look at this. A lot of damage is added up. The Archmage could try and make a play out across the map to try and finish off a Crypt Fiend or two, as the Archmage now regrouping with the rest of the army. Back down across here. Footman now with Defend. That is going to be a difference, as the Arcane Tower needs to be massively repaired. All right, Death Knight getting in some easy shots once more. A lot of repair getting underway. It looks like it will stay up as the Death Coil finally being used. Death Knight does have enough for another Death Coil, though, as the Crypt Fiend going to get taken out. Is going to get taken down. Arcane Tower removing precious mana. Archmage now up to level 3 at the other end of the map, sitting at 226 hit points. Beautiful play by Romantic, and all of a sudden everything has tipped in favor of Romantic, and by playing such a great line. Footman now going after the Acolytes over here. Black Citadel being upgraded. Any Acolyte loss would be horrific, as the Water Elemental is still in position. Archmage still trying to go after perhaps some extra units, as the Archmage may be able to take down the Death Knight. Death Knight now down to 90 hit points, but the Lich does have enough mana for Frost Nova. You got to be extremely careful, and at this point, I believe Romantic is just overstaying his welcome. He has the economic advantage. He does not need to be in this fight taking so much damage either. As you can take a look, Crypt Fiend is down to 95 hit points. Obsidian Statue, I believe, is finally out onto the field, making all of this battle pretty much just moot now. All right, Lich out on the field. Let's take a look at this Death Knight. Gonna be able to get a little bit more experience. Let's take a look. Crypt Fiend gonna get taken down. Oh, be able to back off, but the Water Elemental gets in that final bit of splash damage there. Archmage just hiding out over here. We should be seeing some units doing a bit of retreating, as the Obsidian Statues are still being cranked out, and we are going into Black Citadel. All right, are the Footmen going to be able to survive this long enough, as the Ghouls are trying to finish off some more of those units? Death Knight still hanging on, as the Water Elementals look to perhaps finish off a couple of those Obsidian Statues before they turn into Destroyers. Crypt Fiend down to 139 hit points. Archmage was eyeing that yummy, juicy spider, but decides against it, as another Footman going to get taken out by the Death Knight. Frost Nova guarantees a bit of experience, as we're looking at the Obsidian Statue and the Lich. All right, we are at tier 3. We should be getting Destroyer form. We are looking at 2 Obsidian Statues right now. We are getting Destroyer form at this stage, but perhaps a 3rd or 4th Obsidian Statue would be better, and as they would have more mana ready to go. Let's take a look at all of this next. Death Knight looking to finish off the remainder of this 3-3-3 creep camp. Level 1 Death Knight, and we are 9 minutes into this game. Level 2 Lich, though, since he was able to, well, kill off a couple of Footmen early on. Archmage benefiting from that Arcane Vault finally across over here. Lots of towers to be had. Masonry upgrade has not been started, surprisingly enough, as the Archmage going to go ahead and go after this 5-4-4 creep camp. Archmage here, putting pressure under the Ogre Mauler creep camp. Meanwhile, the Undead going after the more difficult creep camp up at the north. Lich here with plenty of mana, and this is where Undead gets strong. Level 3 Death Knight, level 3 Lich. And all of a sudden, all of your early units are easily eaten alive by the, well, the magic damage from the Death Knight and that Lich. Lich, Frost Nova, able to slow units down and also deal a significant bit of damage. Death Knight able to use that Death Coil, keep units up, as I believe that is just an illusion, and it will get away. Back down to the south here, Archmage going to, I believe, get to level 4. There should be enough experience to get to level 4 here. Yeah, going to be able to do that with no problem. Claws of Attack +6, as Illusion should be dropped out here, or perhaps Scroll of Regeneration will be used after the creep camp is cleared to make room. Orb of Corruption does in fact hurt. That -5 armor is essentially 30% less effective hit points, as the Archmage still keeping track of all of this here. You can see more Obsidian statues are being added. Let's go ahead, Devour Magic, getting some additional magic off of those units here, as it's gonna be just one Destroyer up in the air for now, trying to finish off some of these units. Back down to the south, Archmage, well, taking a lot of damage, and now gonna be using a Scroll of Town Portal to get out of a tight spot. Nope, not even really a tight spot. He just really wanted to head home. Coming back across here, trying to buy time, 350 gold in order to be able to clear out this creep camp in a timely fashion. Archmage wants to back off though, giving that Mountain King level 2. Is the Archmage going to purchase a new Scroll of Town Portal? I do believe so. Why doesn't anyone use Fire Orbs? Fire Orb is not that great of an item. The splash damage is not really altogether that useful. It just doesn't splash enough. Perhaps that is one of the things that should be addressed. I actually have been thinking about writing the Blizzard, saying that the Fire Orb is the weakest of the 4 orbs. And considering how often you see Orb of Corruption, Orb of Venom, and the Orb of Lightning, why shouldn't there be a buff there? All right, Destroyers up in the air, going to go ahead and try and finish off all of these towers. A bit of micro is going to be needed. As you can take a look, all of those Destroyers do have a good bit of mana, and that damage is starting to eat through, but unable to get through the back lines there. Lich, perhaps it's going to be able to finish off a couple of easy units here. There is one Obsidian statue, but there is just not enough health on those Destroyers to really survive that next attack. Meanwhile, you can see an Archmage Illusion hiding off to the north there. Not quite sure what that is about, as all the units are going to be heading back south. Spellbreakers going to cause a bit of problems. -5 armor there, down to -2, as the Crypt Fiends and Ghouls should be able to make short work of that. Lich is sitting at level 2. Way too many towers back down to the south by Romantic as well, as this is not going well at all. Now, all this really means is that Romantic really wants a long game. And if the game does go long, he will have that advantage. But if the Destroyers can get the Lich and the Death Knight, and maybe even the Panda, to a critical mass in terms of their level, that is going to be too much to handle. Destroyers are here, ready to go. Panda, are we going to see a Breath of Fire? We are getting some Obsidian statues. There's only 3 Destroyers here. I believe one of them was taken out earlier. We should be getting some additional Obsidian statues as well, but if those are caught in transit, that is going to be extremely bad news. Back down to the south, Panda gonna be able to get to level 2 without a problem. Death Knight gonna get to level 3, I believe, after this Gargantuan Sea Turtle goes down, which means the Lich, well, where is the Lich? Lich purposely stayed back. Why didn't it want level 3 Frost Nova? Perhaps he knew that he wouldn't be able to get both the Lich and the Death Knight to level 3, and therefore just went after the Lich. Back down across over here, another quick clear once more. Archmage, Mountain King. Mountain King is sitting at 3. The hero level advantage belongs to the human player. That is a surprise, as we now see a quick rush on in here. Breath of Fire going down across multiple guard towers here. Panda, does it have enough mana for another Breath of Fire? No, it does not. Getting purposely feedbacked as well, as the Death Knight gonna make short work of all of these towers. Destroyers now with pretty much no problem finishing off these towers, and this is still giving experience. The problem now is going to be that it is a base trade. My expansion for your main base. Are you willing to do it? Fighting back across over here, Tomb of Relics gonna get taken out. 1 Spirit, or 1 Nerubian Tower, and 1 Black Citadel, and that is it. Knights are also in position. Scroll of Town Portal coming across. Archmage says, you know what? I do not want to stick around. Let me see what else can be happening, as all the units take a bit of damage before they flee. Paladin, human tri-hero, is currently out onto the field. A lot of peasants were lost here. Destroyers living up to their name, being able to deal tremendous damage, as the Lich and Panda are once again moving out onto the field. Obsidian statues do have a good bit of mana, 330, 340, and 500. With that, 500 mana should make short work out of these knights as well. Creature Carapace being upgraded, and this is one of those situations where shared upgrades make such a big difference. Your destroyers and your crypt fiends are both sharing upgrades, but now with a squadron of flying machines, thank you for the cheer. A squadron of flying machines in the air, those destroyers do not stand much of a chance. Panda needs to get perhaps some breath of fires off. Let's take a look at this. Flying machines are going to town on all of these destroyers. Who is going to end up losing more first? Romantic with the larger army. As you can see, flying machine after flying machine, Death Knight, Lich, units, where are they going? They just simply ran through all of these units. As you see a Stormbolt go onto the Death Knight. Units are going to try and teleport away, but but those Death Knight could have finished it, and it feels like Romantic just won the game because Happy lost control of his army. Romantic taking that game right there. Death Knight and the Lich just simply ran through. The flying machines got free shots onto the destroyers because the destroyers needed to get within range of the Scroll of Town portal. And with a mistake like that, that was pretty much the end of it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it. That kind of felt like a what just happened moment.